right, we're going to go ahead and get this webinar kicked off. I'm Jessalyn, I'm with Hackster, and I'm very excited to introduce our speaker today for the Sustainability and Impact webinar with Arduino. And we have Arduino's own Meet Betty. He is Senior Vice President and General Manager of Arduino Enterprise and B2B. He'll bring extensive experience in enterprise and industrial automation. He oversees Arduino's B2B and enterprise efforts. He has a strong focus on driving sustainability through IoT-enabled solutions and digital transformation, as well as helping companies optimize operations and reduce environmental impact. And to tell you what all of that means, I'm super excited to welcome Ganeet.
Thank you, Jessalyn. I'm also super excited to be here, and hopefully a lot of you are having a good Friday. I'll jump right into it. So, I'm Ganeet Bedi, like Jessalyn said. But I think what we're going to talk about today, I'm going to introduce you to the Arduino's Enterprise and Pro offering, because some of you might be scratching your head saying, what is Arduino doing in enterprise? And then, the next one is the real-world examples of sustainability. We'll do a bunch of customer success stories, and then also go a little bit deeper into the product portfolio, which enables that. Justin, I see this. Somebody, Doug, talking about slides are about cybersecurity. Is that correct, or are we in the right slide deck? I just want to make sure everybody sees the Arduino slides with the agenda. Somebody in the audience can confirm, please.
Which slide did you ask?
I was just making sure because Doug in the attendee chat is saying they're seeing slides about cybersecurity. Just want to make sure that the attendees are seeing, you're seeing Arduino slides, Brian. Thank you. Okay, all right, perfect. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, William. Let's keep going. I appreciate it. So with that, I think most of you know who Arduino is, but I don't know if you know that outside of a mission, which is very important, and I know a lot of you are here from the Hackster community, very near and dear to our heart, is to empower anyone to innovate. But we have three market segments that we serve today. Of course, we serve the education and, revolutionizing just how learning journey happens. A lot of makers and tinkerers, individuals who want to unleash their creativity. But about 3.5 years ago, we also started what is called Arduino Pro, which is really focused on the professional side. So I think I'll today talk about the combination of everything, with a lot of real-time customer case studies coming from the professional product line. So, just to kind of, set the scene, you guys know us, but it's very interesting. Just a few things. We've been growing like crazy in the last few years on building the community and engaging actively. Today, over 4 million people on LinkedIn put Arduino as a skill set. And the other thing I wanted to say is, by the way, a lot of libraries, and you guys should use that, almost 7,000 libraries, and 30 million plus active developers, lots of forum users. So the good news is if you're ever working with Arduino on any project, you get a lot of support because there's a lot of active forum users. And last thing is, if you haven't looked at it, I will talk about it later today, but look at the cloud. We have an IoT cloud, which is very easy to use. It's also free for the first couple of devices. So just, something to think about. But, we have been growing. And with that, what we see is primarily the two areas where, we see the shared problems we're solving. And a lot of this leads to sustainability and impact, but also general increase in project growth, if you may. One is the embedded electronics focus, where a lot of people do not, want to do for a certain amount of quantity or fast movement, revenue, chip down design anymore. One of our key partners, Avnet, which, I was a part of, see that we've saved customers up to 18 months and up to millions of dollars, but 1.4 million as average of NRE to use a more modular approach like we have. Of course, there's a lot of talent shortage, and people are still seeing lots of downtime in industrial automation. So, all of that led us to really create this new line of products, which is called Pro. I'll cover that for literally 2 minutes and then jump into the use cases and case studies. We took the Arduino approach, which is really simple and easy to use. And we created this new line of products called Arduino Pro, which are more, of course, reliable and long-lasting for 10 plus years of performance and life cycle. Very, very high quality, extended temperature range, And I think one of the things which is most important is encrypted and secure. So every Pro product comes with very detailed and enhanced security, both at the hardware level with a crypto chip, secure element, as well as with firmware security and cloud security. So I think that's what we took the Arduino approach and then took it a little bit more deeper into the area of enterprise to kind of give the benefit of both enterprise as well as the quick to learn, easy to use kind of approach, which has been used a lot in sustainability. So I'm going to jump there and come back to the portfolio. But if I jump there, sorry, if I went too fast. There are a few examples. I will go into double click into two. This makes a lot of sustainability solutions easy to do. For example, starting in renewable energy, we see a lot of solar, which is not there. We see a lot of EV charging, a lot of hydro, but lots and lots of examples, and there's some real examples on our website. Talking about this, so lots of retrofitting as well as smart device examples in renewable energy. A lot of them in sustainable agriculture. This has become a very interesting and high growth vertical for us from an ag perspective, where whether it's precision crop management, very innovative water management systems for irrigation, real-time agricultural monitoring all across the world. We see this in Latin America, we see this in the US, we see this in Europe as well as Asia. My favorite example here is one of the largest mango farms in Peru, as well as the cotton, in Iowa, or corn everywhere. So we see a lot of sustainable agriculture, precision irrigation agriculture. Of course, we see a lot in the building space. We'll give you one example of a indoor air quality system, specifically built for reclaimed land buildings. Lots of safe worker, safe construction sites, smart helmets. So lots of going on in the energy management space in buildings. Of course, water conservation, as live in Texas. Water is the new oil, they say, and lots more in water treatment, wastewater treatment. I'll get into one of these in details. And then, of course, a lot of corporate sustainability, mostly we are completely ESG compliant company. We do a lot of, effort to make sure there's recycling happening, as well as none of the dangerous elements are being used in our production. So Arduino, just because of the ease of use, the affordability, and now with the enterprise grade Pro, has become almost like a first choice for a lot of sustainability and impact solutions, which we're very, very excited about. Just to remind everybody, if you guys have any questions, please put them in the Q&A, and we'll be super happy to, or chat, and we'll be super happy to answer that. Right? What enables all of the stuff I'm going to show you is this portfolio of solutions which have subsystems or system on modules, has lots of connectivity, carriers, and accessories. As you guys know, shields is what Arduino is really known for. So we've taken that also and created a bunch of shields that you can use. Of course, we have industrial automation products that I'll talk about, especially our smart IO or micro PLC, as well as this product you'll see here, Portenta machine controller. Very, very interesting. You can do a lot of sustainability, a lot of machine retrofit, use cases. We do a bunch of prototyping kits, of course. We're the prototyping company, if you may, and also in production, but of course in prototyping. And then all the software that you're used to, IDE, PLC ID in the community, as well as the cloud. And we are cloud agnostic, any cloud. We have our own IoT cloud, which is doing phenomenally well, built on AWS. But you could use any other cloud if you wanted to. So this is a portfolio which is built around it. It goes everything from low end to high end. Again, I know there's a lot of Arduino products. There's only one small distinction I'll make here is the blue PCBs are more the maker and hobbyists, mostly from a support and temperature range and industrial components perspective. The experience is the same. And the black PCBs, which you see in kind of this light green color here, are all Pro products. So they are the ones which give you life cycle warranties, as well as industrial temp ranges and support and components and security. So that's probably it. I'm going to just jump into the use cases. I can skip this. So let's see some real world examples. How is Arduino being used for sustainability and impact? Jocelyn, do you see any questions from the attendees right now?
No questions yet.
Okay. All right, guys, please don't feel shy. Please ask any questions. We'll answer them. So the first thing I wanted to say is, outside of the corporate examples that I'll give you, There's tons and tons of projects on sustainability and impact and in general. So this is one website you should look into and really bookmark it, especially if you're a key part of the community, which is, from our perspective, the Project Hub is what we call it. So it's projecthub.arduino.cc. There's almost 6,000 projects. And there is also, we've done this projects by categories, and you can search. So you'll find a lot of projects which are focused on sustainability. These are people trying to experiment, prototype, all the way to people who are using it in production. So, and as you see on top, you have various sectors of the projects for schools, for professionals, etc. So this is the first big resource. Very active, as you see. Maybe I don't know if I capture some of them, but the soil moisture sensor has almost 82,000 views, right? So very active community. So please, use this whenever you want. You'll find a lot of real examples with real code in here. From a corporate perspective, if we take this Project Hub one next level, one of the ones I really like is this with a partner called Optim, who's built a worker safety and wastewater treatment solution. It's been rolled out in the south of the US as well as a lot in Mexico and Latin America. And, if you guys are familiar with wastewater, it sounds reasonably basic, but it's pretty scientific. So, in a lot of municipalities as well as private areas, you have these kind of pumps, and the problem is you want to do wastewater purification with very stringent government standards. So you do chemical dispensing, which is both very manual and labor intensive, and a lot of times you don't get it right. And of course, this is risky for those workers there with chemicals which could be dangerous. Of course, you don't have a real-time understanding of the data, if the system is failing or not, what is happening. And of course, this also needs a lot of compliance. We need to make sure that while you're doing the dispensing with real-time, hopefully data, you also do this with a lot of strict government regulations, and not doing that leads to a lot of penalties and reputational damage, of course, but also health hazards. So it was very sustainability, but also a lot of impact in the society and the environment as this project. And one of the challenges for an optimal solution was, of course, it had to be connected because you want to do remote monitoring, and specifically in this case with a flow meter. It had to be precise because the chemical injection has to be very precise and real time. It has to move fast, so it has to be almost real time, if not close to real time. But at the same time, with all the budget challenges and the municipality cuts, it had to be a very affordable solution at high quality, right? And that is why they started off with what you look here, right at the middle of this. You see this green and black PCB on the right, which is the really the Portenta machine controller or an Arduino product, coupled with various other relays and other equipment to create this solution. So if you look at this, from a perspective of the solution, they used an Arduino product, and it was very smart automated system, very fast, very precise, but very cost effective. You'll see a lot of the micro PLCs we launched are sub $200, in some cases sub $100 a scale. So these are solutions which can be actually used with the ease of Arduino, but in a very affordable and a high quality way. And let me show you the environment, So I'm going to share my screen because the video might have a problem here. Hold on. So, and Jocelyn, please help me out when you see my screen. Do you see my screen? I think
your screen's
so.
on now.
Yeah. All right. Let me play this video. You'll see how, the environment is. It's like really dirty, rugged, dusty, but this is one of the plants that we recorded the video on, how we're setting up the whole system. This is what Optim used to create the HMI. I'll cover in a minute the block diagram of the solution, but the whole, it's in Spanish in this case. We did this in, I think, Monterrey in Mexico. And the whole idea is, you need this pump to be real-time monitored with a flow meter, and then accordingly put, in such a dirty environment, something which stays forever, high quality, outdoors, temperature ranges, ruggedized, but still at a very affordable as well as a very high quality way. This is, the wastewater treatment plant, if you may. And in a minute, you will see what's inside the box, I think. My engineer who did this came back, one, very surprised, but secondly, pretty happy that we're making an impact. So I don't know if he took the box. He didn't take the box, but so this is the idea, right? So I think the idea is, these are the kind of environments now you see the Arduinos go into. And coming back to the slides, that's the block diagram of the solution, right? So from a wastewater treatment perspective, we have a ultrasonic flow meter, we have an automatic chemical dispenser, we also have a centrifugal pump, which needs to change, and all of that is done with Modbus, geeking out for a minute, and then all of this went into an HMI as well as a screen, as you saw there, in that case in Spanish. But the idea is you can control everything locally, but you can also control it, remotely through the cloud. But again, that was a very, very unique example, I think, of lots of ideas and inspirations you can take. And this is being rolled out in so many municipalities that we feel good that we can do good. Of course, give a very good product and solution, but also do good by making it easy. William has a good question on Q&A. Project Hub is a great resource for getting inspiration, how people do it. But, so William, really good question. We are working on a professional section of the Project Hub, which will basically allow you to do a lot of these, if you may, projects that you do or other engineers do to put them out there. But in the meantime, while we do that, we have a use cases section on our website. I want to put that in Q&A for everybody. Can I send it to everybody? I think send to all. There you go. I'm also going to put it in chat. So this is one place you can go and look at all the different use cases that we have. But we are very shortly working on a project hub for, enterprise, where then all of these kind of projects can actually be put on Project Hub, including what the impact was, as well as the code and everything else. So good question, William. Please keep these coming, guys. So that's the first example, and of course, you can look at the product. I won't go too much detail into product, but the idea is really good data acquisition and connectivity like any other major, industrial vendor would do, with very precise measurements, very, very, very fast scan times. One of the fastest, PLCs, micro PLCs, or smart IOs that you can look into. You can compare this to any Allen Bradley, Siemens, whatever equipment. It's pretty equivalent in performance and reliability, but at the same time, super affordable. One interesting thing is we do not, being Arduino, do not charge any money for software licenses outside the cloud. So unlike other vendors where you have to pay tons and tons of money to get a data out of the PLC or a smart IO, we don't do that. It's free, right? So I think that's really truly democratizing how people use it. Guillermo, who's the CEO, said, we decided to run extensive testing for the Portenta machine controller for more than a year. They're a very big integrator and design house in Mexico. And not only was robust, but also had the perfect device for this application. So, so Doug, I don't know if our Pro products are conformal coded. So Doug asked a question, if the Pro products are conformal coded. I will take that as an action and find out. I do not know. So that's a good question. But we'll come back. Let's go from wastewater to vapor monitoring. I don't know if you know this, but this is in building operations, specifically where a lot of expansion is going on in reclaimed land. I don't know if you know this, but there's a thing called sub-slab depressurizing system. Fascinating when I found out about it. It's regulation. But what it is, it's a ventilation system which is built under the building's foundation, and it draws all the harmful gases, right, beneath the slabs and the vents that go, below a building, and make sure that none of these, harmful gases come indoors, where you're living. So it's really interesting. There's a depressurized zone, there's a contaminated soil, but the whole idea is you do a sub-slab depressurizing system to take this and prevent indoor contamination. It basically works pretty simple from a science perspective. It creates a low pressure zone under the slab to prevent any harmful gas, especially like VOCs or radon, and make sure that the pressure allows it to go outside and not come indoor and make the indoor quality bad. Of course, protecting against any harmful vapors. Super, 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 super important for health and air quality. And of course, you want to make sure that none of the toxic vapors are coming in. So that's it. I mean, that's the basic thing. In a lot of cases, you also have what they call vacuum blowers, but an area where you can actually get some of these harmful gases that low high pressure environment and get them out right in a safe enough environment and far enough environment. So this is for regulatory compliance all across the globe, and to make sure that there's no exposure when you're building on reclaimed land, right? So that's the problem statement. Of course, technically the problem was we have to detect the vapor, right? So the problem was detect manually, do vapor detection. It's very labor intensive and of course dangerous. Increase the cost, but also safety risks. Again, do this real time or almost real time, near time, if you may. And then this leads to compliance, right? So that's basically what we did, and a lot of challenges here because first of all, there's tons and tons of different gases and different measurements to be done. And it has to be remotely connected. That was the only way. It has to be accurate. In the previous case, it was more precise and precision chemical injection. In this case, it was more important to do early detection, and which is why you needed accuracy, but also you needed machine learning and AI at the edge. So in our case, just geeking out for a minute, our micro PLC has a dual core M4, M7. So we leave one core for customers to do artificial intelligence or other advanced algorithms. So we did that. Of course, response time has to be milliseconds, microseconds. So that's important, and it has to be affordable because this has to go out again in many, 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 many places, right? And the whole idea is to measure multiple points versus very expensive measurement at one point. So you want lots of devices out there. In this case, our customer used what we call the Arduino Opta, which is our smart I/O PLC. Here is where you see the cabinet, right? Which the cabinet is very interesting. As you see, there's lots of sensors. It goes all the way down into the depressurizing, low pressure system. Quickly and precisely finds out what is going on. And I think the other thing in this case was what our customer really liked is using the micro PLC and I/O, but also do that in a way that they can very quickly do a cloud dashboard, monitor the cloud dashboard, create alerts, and take action. Because this PLC has I/Os, but it also has relays that you can use for doing real-time control. So it was very interesting. So I think they did this whole vapor monitoring solution. I'm going to show you a video next again of this solution, which I'll have to share my screen for. Give me 1 minute. All right, I'm assuming you guys see the screen. So I'm going to go in slideshow mode. There we go. I'm going to play the video. So this is the founder of the company. This is one of the buildings that you see, which are here, which is, and if you see the building, it's in the middle of a mall, so it's not like anywhere. These are the solution they created. You can see the tags. So 24/7 monitoring services, vapor irrigation, small company, right? And they wanted something very quick, affordable, easy to use. This is one of the buildings, and if you see it, you won't even know. It's like one of the apartment buildings next to one of the strip malls. This is, I think, in Pennsylvania, this particular example. But again, a few things to mention here. What happened to this video? Let's see if it goes ahead. Okay, so that's basically this is a building, if I remember, built over old petroleum land and a chemical factory. So they wanted to make sure that none of the dangerous gases go into these apartment buildings. The other thing which you would really appreciate is small company did not have that much money to spend, but more importantly, embedded engineers. And because we have our products which can do both C++ or the Arduino sketches and IEC 61131, so ladder logic, structural text, all that good stuff, it actually is really compelling for embedded engineers to do automation. At the same time, allow industrial automation engineers to keep doing automation. So very interesting, from that perspective that you see, kind of putting the two worlds together. So that was the other example that we saw with the AMB Vapor. The architecture there is pretty simple. As you see, you saw a bunch of those sensor grid, if you may. A lot of that comes in the digital IOs. We have both analog and digital IOs in our products. In this case, they used Modbus with RS485. The other thing which is very interesting is we also have cellular and LoRa expansions. So this ecosystem of micro PLC comes with a lot of expansions, real-time data acquisition, and then that goes into the IoT cloud. I'll show you IoT cloud in a minute, but it's very, very easy to create quick dashboards, like these, as well as it does all the over-the-air updates, device management really well. So, you could do a lot of that and get to the dashboard. So very powerful and simple architecture. The most important thing is they were able to do this in 1/3 the time that they would do it with other solutions. So, in the case of sustainability and impact, as you guys know, a lot of the times you have to really quickly show results versus, waiting for long, cycles. And of course, from a licensing cost and engineering perspective, tons and tons of savings, right? I think they were able to do this at, 1/10 the cost. Otherwise, they would do it with other vendors. So, and saved a lot of engineering time because of the cloud and the templates and, ease of use. So, and they use C++ on a PLC. They did not have to use any of the structured text ladder logic, which was very, very interesting. And I'm sure the community will love that. So once we discovered Opta, it changed our whole world. And they were able to do a lot of these systems. Today they have about, I think, a few hundred buildings with this system. And they're growing really well. And it's a father-son duo. So it's really cool to see them grow a small business into this reasonably impactful and large business. So I just want to cover a little bit on this. I know a lot of you guys know ours as Uno, and what we've done for Uno, and we've enabled millions of you to do innovation. That's what Opta is doing in industrial automation. So Opta is to industrial automation what Uno is to making and tinkering. So please, consider this as a very, very interesting product you can go play with, and you can have the whole Arduino experience with a finished micro PLC. Of course, you can do it with other approaches like IEC if you wanted to, 61131 languages too. It's an IoT node, it's secure, it's DIN rail mounted, it has an STM32H747, so, a dual core, very powerful brain. It also has integration with HMIs, it has cellular LoRa expansions, it has various expansions like shields for IOs. You can go up to 96 IOs if you wanted to, and up to quite a few relays, for 20 to 25 different real-time control elements, and it comes with a secure element. And most importantly, outside of field bus communications like Modbus, RS485, it also comes with the entire Arduino experience of community, tutorials, libraries. So, we can really start creating some sustainable impact, if you may. I don't want to talk too much about the product, but you guys now know it. So please look it up. It's called the Arduino Opta, OPTA. Oh, it's built with Finder, or Finder, as we call it in the US. Finder is a very well-respected relay brand. So we built this smart IO with very, very rugged and reliable, relays and IOs. Very powerful brain, but with the Arduino ecosystem. And also, like I said, we have expansions, right? So this allows you to do a lot of environmental monitoring, sustainability, energy management, with tons of IOs from a programmable, digital, analog, as well as electromechanical, as well as solid-state relays. So, big, um, array of products that can help. It works with the Arduino C++ Sketchway, which is really, really interesting. So, the libraries are all ready to go. And, with just a few commands and a few lines of code, you're ready, which both A and B liked, as well as, Optimotion. And then, of course, you can mix and match the Arduino code. This is very, very unique with the PLC ID, what we call, which is the IEC 61131. So ladder logic, structural text, functional block. You can mix that with the C++ approach. So very powerful how the industrial and embedded world come together. And coming soon is the wireless and cellular expansion with a company called Blues Wireless. So that's just to kind of give you a sense of this. I think it's a great product to also learn if you want to just experiment at home. My favorite project is our CEO in his house uses this for a lot of the lights and various automation at home. He also has a swimming pool. He uses it for a swimming pool automation. But you can do a lot of projects here from that perspective. And then lastly, I just wanted to cover the IoT cloud, and I'll open up for questions. But from a cloud perspective, it's a low-code platform, almost no code, like you're used to with Arduino, but now built on AWS, ruggedized, very secure, very scalable. I think I showed you, we have 6 billion messages So 6 billion messages a month coming on this cloud. It's huge. We have more than 150,000 users, over 10,000 paid customers. So there's a lot of companies using this. And what it does, it allows you to create very quick telemetry and dashboards, but of course, very powerful for fleet management, over-the-air updates, device management. And you can do this with also the combination of machine learning. We are also putting some generative AI to create some of the code in here. So very powerful cloud. What it is basically we wanted to do it differently from everybody else, especially if you're doing sustainability or quick projects. It's a hassle-free, is the keyword, IoT solution. So there's not 37 steps to get started. It's pretty quick. I'll show you a video in a minute how quick it is. And to build smart and connected projects. It does remote device management, including over-the-air updates, data collection, and of course real-time monitoring, and very simple but customizable dashboards. And this is from my friend ChatGPT. So I said, tell me what's Arduino Cloud, and it's pretty true to our ethos. So if you haven't looked at it, look at it. It's pretty cool. It has a lot of templates created for you, so you can create this. It also has some new Gen AI features coming in for code generation, code creation, as well as code testing, which is phenomenal, and also does AWS integration. One thing it does have is it does on the web. So all the developer tools that you're used to, instead of downloading an IDE, the Arduino IDE on the your laptop, you can just do everything in the cloud. Same experience, but it allows you to save all your sketches. So it allows unlimited storage, so you can store a bunch of your sketches in the paid plan. So just keep that in mind from a cloud perspective. I'm going to show you. I'll come back to this. I'm going to show you a video of how easy it is to onboard. So I guess I'll share my screen again because the video doesn't work on these slides. Give me a minute. Share screen. This is our Uno R4 Wi-Fi, a new product which is built on the Renesas RA4 microcontroller. And what this does, it'll show you in a minute how easy it is to onboard in like less than a couple of minutes. You'll see a live demo. This is one of our engineers. Goes to Arduino Cloud, logs in, and as soon as logs in, he will connect the Uno R4. That's the first dashboard you see in the cloud. He's connected the device, and the device automatically is, will get provisioned and recognized. You'll see that in a minute. So he literally logs in, puts the, first time you have to do this, then it's a Wi-Fi device. So then it does over the air, connects it, quickly finds out, oh, this is a Uno R4. Can I configure it? You kind of go and put your, Wi-Fi credentials so that next time onwards, it's all everything done over the air. And this is literally live. And there you go. So, you kind of have the first, code already done for you and created. You can also create variables with a low-code approach. In the backend, this converts this into an Arduino Sketch or a C++, if you may, language. You configure your network, and you'll see then it'll upload this sketch. You add a name for a variable you want to add. There you go. It's a simple sketch with one. Just automatically generates all the code for you, and then you check the code, you compile it, and you put it on your board. And in the bottom, you'll see the console. You'll see it live. Okay, he's also being a good engineer and actually adding a few lines of code himself just to show you how easy it is. But I think he's just copying some sample code for a LED blink, just to kind of see the LED blink. So he's added a few lines of code just to kind of show you the experience, compiling the sketch and just uploading it. And then once you do it, he's going to put an LED strip to it. You already added that as a variable, simple I2C quick connector. This I2C. That's an LED strip. And he's going to run the code now, and he'll show you a dashboard. And he'll show you how easy it is to create a dashboard too. So it's literally a widgets. You have about 85 widgets already there. Just add one of the widgets that you want. Of course, you add the device first, and then you add a widget. In this case, he's doing a simple off-on. By the way, all of these work by default in also the mobile view. We disconnected from the USB-C, just put a battery, and so that it's all over Wi-Fi. There you go. He's going to turn it on. Change the brightness. You just change the color. So there you go. Change the color. And this live video or live demo, all of this was done in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So less than 5 minutes, you can have a device connected with over-the-air updates. And there you go. And there's also a mobile app that he's showing you, which allows you to see that all of these are available by default in the mobile. So it's mobile and touch friendly. Change it to red. Perfect. I think we've seen enough, but that kind of shows you how quickly you can start. I want to show you on purpose. But the same exact experience that you see here is also the experience you will see in the professional products, right? So it's exactly the same. So nothing changes, which is phenomenal. And this is basically where you can take a lot of innovation in your hand, control dashboards, develop online coding as well as control anywhere with your device management. And then the main features are device management, fleet management. Oh, of course, we have enterprise features like white labeling, role-based access control. You can put your own logo, make it white labeled, and then start doing the projects like you saw Optim do. They did it on HMI to create a wastewater treatment solution, as well as a solution in AMB's case for vapor monitoring. And of course, we have add-ons for Linux, BSP, and LoRaWAN management. So I think that's the main things I wanted to cover today. Of course, Arduino has tons and tons of getting started. We have one very interesting thing, and I'll open it up for questions. Thank you, Isaac. Isaac put something in chat saying, appreciate you using Uno R4. And yes, our whole mission is to make it as easy to use as possible. We have a new academy.arduino.cc, where we are actually doing certified engineering badges. So the first course we have is for Opta. So you're welcome to go and take it's a self-paced course. It's free. You do need an Opta and a kit to do. You need the hardware, but outside there is no cost for the course. And yeah, we'd love for you to go do it and tell us what you think. And once you finish it, you get a LinkedIn badge and a LinkedIn credential to put. And we will launch 5 or 6 more such courses very soon on the Academy. And of course, we have lots of use cases. So feel free to use the tutorials and the use cases that I absolutely love. I'll show you one of my favorite, use cases. So just so that you guys know, I'm going to share my screen again. When you go to docs.arduino, you see my screen. So docs.arduino is very interesting because when you go to the hardware, you have all the hardware here. Let's say you want to go to Opta. You go to the Opta, which is a micro PLC, and all the tutorials are here. There's some really interesting tutorials. Tank level monitoring, one of my favorites. Air compressors is a great one. Conveyor belt sorting is a great one. Packaging and labeling machines. But let's say if you want to do conveyor belt or tank monitoring, either way. So this has a step-by-step tutorial. It has all the hardware you need. It has all the code for the sketches as well as for some ladder programming if you want to start getting familiar, or you're already familiar with ladder and IEC languages. So this is very interesting. Please go look there. Both from conveyor belt is a good one, but for sustainability, the tank monitoring, as you see, there's so many tank monitoring use cases. This kind of walks you through a float switch, and you can build it at your own home tank, or you can do it for work. Very, very interesting. And the Academy, just to show you, academy.arduino.cc. Oh, I misspelled it, of course. I forgot the Y. There you go. So these are all the courses that you will see here. Right now we have one, which is for the Opta, and there's like 4 to 5 more coming. So feel free to use this, feel free to enroll. It's a 5 or 6 module course, takes about a few hours, say 16, but for some of you in the community, it'll be pretty fast. And, just kind of go get to know the Opta. So thank you guys. That was basically what I had. Justin, do we have any questions? I don't see any. I don't think so.
Yes, let me just check. some people might have had questions prior to the event. Okay. Nope. There was one question prior to the event about the ESP32, but I don't think it was not actually a question. So.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Everybody have a good day.